everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm making yet another Hollow Knight lightbox. So I wasn't really feeling motivated to make a lightbox, but I still wanted to. So I just went and I looked on my Instagram and I realized that I haven't done something blue in a really long time. So that was kind of my jumping off point. And I know I wanted to do Hollow Knight, so that helped narrow down my options. And in the end, I decided on the fountain in the City of Tears. So let's get started. The very first thing I started on was the layer with the fountain. This fountain is actually pretty interesting. It ties in with the lore of the game. It basically depicts the Hollow Knight surrounded by the three dreamers who were assigned to keep it sealed away in order to protect everyone and to trap the infection. So that's pretty cool. I made sure to get the whole thing centered on the page and I get to work cutting it out. It's missing a lot of details right now, but I have a plan for adding those later on. I quickly finished up the base of the fountain where all those leaves are, and then I just moved on to the next part. I split the fountain onto two layers, and this was the second part of it. It was very simple since I left some of the details for later. After quickly cutting it out, I then turned my attention to the background, which consists of buildings. The architecture in the City of Tears is pretty weird. I'm pretty positive these are supposed to be windows. They're bubbly outwards, which reminds me of submarines and underwater stuff. I guess since it does constantly rain in the city, that it kind of fits with the whole watery theme. It was hard to make out some details in the image because the background's very blurred, so I just did the best I could. Then I did another layer of windows. It doesn't have to look perfect because I'm going to cover this later. And now back to the foreground. It was time for the floor/main platform in front of the fountain. I drew out the shape and planned out where I wanted the brick details. And here's where my plan for the details comes into play. Instead of cutting out the details, I decided to layer them as well to make them darker and stand out more. So on another paper, I draw and cut out all the bricks and glue them onto the layer. I cut in between the bricks to add even more contrast. There are these little posts on this layer too, and these look like those posts at the dock where you tie your boats so it doesn't float away, so that's kind of an interesting little detail. After that, I go and I add the same layer details on the fountain until I'm happy with it. Then I move on to the part I've been putting off, which is this bridge. I really couldn't make out any details really when I looked at the pictures, so I had to find new pictures to look at to see what the railing looks like, and I ripped the first part I cut, so that was very fun, but otherwise it went pretty smoothly. And up next are these ornate metal pillars or arches. I don't exactly know what these are supposed to be, but it was fun to cut out all the intricacies of the metalwork. And next is the most simple layer of this whole light box. It's just a layer with these shell-shaped rock things. They look like the ones from the Forgotten Crossroads, which kind of makes sense since the crossroads were built to transport goods to the city. Then I had this plan to add the water on either side of the platform with parchment paper, so I cut out the shapes and I glued them in. I probably shouldn't have done this because it doesn't really look good in the end, but I didn't realize it till it was done. Then 2 simple layers for the foreground. And now on to the last of the details, the lampposts and the signs. I added 2 lampposts which were a little tricky to cut out because of the thin details, but it went well. I glued them all in place and added a sheet of tracing paper in front of the buildings in the background to act like rain. And now it was time to assemble and everything went pretty smoothly. I added little extra pieces of tracing paper to act as rain in the foreground. And once it was done, I put it in a box and it is done. So here it is. I'm really happy with how it looks. Let me know what you think. I really like this shade of blue. It's so pretty and all the details look very nice. I like the layered effect, except on the platform it doesn't really show too much, but that's okay. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye!